Today is Friday, December 22, 2023. I'm Pastor Michael, and this is Wilderness Wanderings. Our text is from Luke 1. And you, my child, will be called a prophet of the Most High, for you will go on before the Lord to prepare the way for him, to give his people the knowledge of salvation through the forgiveness of their sins, because of the tender mercy of our God, by which the rising sun will come to us from heaven, to shine on those living in darkness and in the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the path of peace. Luke 1, verses 76 to 79. His whole life, Zechariah had known the word of the Lord. He had heard it spoken at the table and in the synagogue and at the temple, and he himself had spoken it countless times to God's people as they gathered at the temple, in the synagogue, and possibly at his own table. These same people had sought him out in his home and in the streets to impart to them the wisdom of the word of the Lord, so they could live righteously before the Lord. And then he was silenced. 9 months. In that silence, a lifetime of scriptures, prayed until they were lodged in his bones, collided with the new word of God spoken by the angel Gabriel. When Zechariah finally opened his mouth, that word of God tumbled out, filling the air, being heard by family and friends gathered for the name day of his son. Gathered from various places, every phrase he uttered familiar, and yet filled with new meaning. In those 9 months of silence, it was not just Zechariah's home that was being filled with new life. His heart, too, was being soaked with new life, the dawning of spiritual light. Yes, light. As Zechariah looks at the child in his arms in the swelling of Mary's womb, he recognizes the fulfillment of Isaiah's word from God, that light was dawning. And his son was charged to be the herald of that light, preparing the way for the Lord. His son would have the privilege of bringing the knowledge of salvation. That salvation would come of all means, by the forgiveness of sins. Light would dawn first in the hearts of women and men and children and youth. They would experience the tender mercy of God in their own hearts. God would shine his light in the darkness of the human heart, and it would be beautiful every time. This God-sent king, whom Zechariah's son would announce, rules like the morning sun. His way of life and his path to peace is not a matter of coercion or the controlling use of power. It is a matter of character. That is why it begins with the forgiveness of sins, reconciling us with God. Though entry into it takes but a moment, salvation is not a passing event. It is a lifelong journey of the heart, guided by our allegiance to the morning star, who goes before us, showing that the way to reflect God is to refract his character in ever-growing ways. For 9 months, Zechariah was silent. In that silence, he discovered that life is not found in our power or our taking control. Rather, it is in following the one who is in control. Salvation is a matter of the heart and following the one who is the source of light. It is not found in convincing people of their sinfulness, but in pointing them to the light, the Prince of Peace. The only road to righteousness and peace, even for a righteous man like Zechariah, is to be prepared to see the light and follow it. Among all the lights that decorate our homes and neighborhoods, we often lose sight of the true light of Christmas. Jesus is not gone. He has not been taken out of Christmas. He is waiting quietly for us to notice him so that he can dawn in our hearts anew and fill us with his light of peace. Go now with this blessing. Though you walk in darkness, may you see the great light. Though you live in a land of deep shadows, may you see light, sunbursts of light. May God increase your life, expand your joy. May you be glad in his presence. May God give you the joy of a great celebration, sharing rich gifts and warm greetings.